What's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. So, Ross Coulthart finally went on Jesse Michael's American Alchemy YouTube channel and sat down for a fascinating interview. I've got a couple different clips to show you because Ross Coulthart claimed something that is bonkers and beyond extraordinary. A UFO base in Arizona, and he's captured evidence on video of this base. Let's jump in because I've got all the details. Please hit that like button, Vetters. That really helps out the videos. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, y'all. And put out new videos every week about the UFO phenomena. And I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Now, let's find out a little bit more about this UFO base in Sedona, Arizona. But stay with me because I have another clip of something Ross Coulthart mentioned during this interview that is disturbing, to say the least, if true, of course.
You were in Sedona, Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
And it would, like, if you watch this video, it is the most mind-blowing video ever.
Let me tell you, I am in no doubt whatsoever, Jesse, that there is a deep underground military bunker that was built in the 1950s under Secret Mountain. That's what it's called. It's the hilarious thing. It's somebody's secret joke. It's called Secret Mountain.
Unbelievable.
Near Sedona. It's within 5-7 kilometers of Sedona. And more importantly, there's a place called Secret Canyon where there's allegedly a portal, some kind of interdimensional portal. And I thought all of this was just crazy nonsense. But there are incredibly brave and super, super interesting people, Jeremiah Horstman and his wife, Alexandra, particularly, who live in Sedona, and they've been doing some really clever on-the-ground research. And one of the things we did, a lot of the stuff we got, as so often happens, you can't put it in the story because you can't get these people to go on camera. But there was a number of people who would privately admit that they'd been walking in what is public land, public parkland, and they'd be stopped by men with guns, men in uniform with automatic weapons, clearly highly trained elite soldiers, probably Tier 1 operatives from the way they moved. And they would basically order people, go away or we will kill you. No mucking around. And there are sightings, numerous sightings of what we saw. I saw it with my own eyes. I was told that the best time of night is around about 1:30 in the morning. And if you looked at a particular place over Secret Mountain, you would see this big orb being escorted by helicopters rising from behind Secret Mountain. So I was skeptical, but we went out with a local lady, Melinda Leslie, who has some good quality military-grade night vision goggles, and we watched at 1:30 in the morning, and sure enough, up comes this beautiful golden orb, gigantic. It pulses, it's plasmatic, it slowly moves off, and the way it moved, you couldn't tell if it's because it got smaller or whether it went so fast that it just disappeared so quickly, but it just disappeared. And they were being escorted by military Black Hawk helicopters. Dozens of them. I mean, the helicopter fuel bill alone for the evening that we're watching them must have been somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000. Somebody is paying huge money to operate orbs with no visible means of propulsion over Secret Mountain in Sedona. And it's funny because one of the people told us that if you want to hide something, you hide it in plain sight. And that's the best way to describe what's going on in what I think is happening in Sedona. And
do you think that's NHI, non-human? Do you think it's man-made? Or okay.
I mean, there are allegations that base is NHI. I've had people who are psionic tell me that they have detected NHI in that area.
Sedona is also a strange place. It's a place everybody says when you go, weird stuff happens.
Yeah.
Now, this is a fascinating story, right? A UFO base in Arizona. You can see an orb coming up, helicopters chasing it. So look, I went to the News Nation YouTube channel and I found the video that Jesse and Ross are talking about. So here's a short clip from the News Nation video that elaborates more on this UFO base in Arizona.
Theory, as wacky as it may sound, is that UAPs spotted all around Arizona are travelling through an interdimensional portal that is now part of a deep underground military base. But before we buy into that, we wanted to see if we can observe any of these UAPs for ourselves. So this is your secret spot, Melinda?
Yes.
UFO tour guide Melinda Leslie has spent 13 years spotting anomalies in the desert skies just outside Sedona.
I can say unequivocally from all the tours that I've done that sightings here are extremely real.
People talk about an underground base. You say with certainty that there is one.
Well, there is a tremendous amount of evidence.
Well, Melinda, we'd like to see it for ourselves. Can we come out with you this evening?
Please come. I'm looking very forward to showing you.
Everybody come, go ahead and grab yourself a chair.
So it's coming up to midnight, and Melinda's been seeing increased activity. Anomalous objects doing extraordinary things, and often escorted by dozens of military helicopters. So we're hoping we might see some tonight. Okay, Melinda, what are these things?
Well, these are the PVS-7 Generation 3 military night vision goggles, and they allow us to see roughly 50,000 times more light than see with our naked eyes. The bases under these hills and on the other side from where we are. So we're looking for anything moving. Now, there's
an orb straight ahead of me.
There's two together right there.
Oh,
There's
look,
military
there's something
coming up.
Yeah, there's a military chopper coming up. Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
this is what you're talking about. There's a military chopper in proximity to those objects.
Yeah, so there's these two here, and there's these two right here, and he came up right behind them.
So, if nothing else, Melinda, I'm satisfied that I'm seeing a lot of choppers hovering and moving with purpose around other objects which are demonstrably anomalous.
Yes.
Now, look, I have to admit, that's a little underwhelming what they're seeing, but one thing I have learned after the Contact in the Desert skywatching event with Chris Bledsoe is that what you record on your phone and like versus what you experience in person is literally night and day. So even though that footage looks underwhelming, what they're showing there about the lights and stuff, you know, when you're there in person, it is so much different. So that I will give a benefit of the doubt here, you know, about all of this, right? So, but this is interesting, and a lot of stuff does happen in Arizona and Sedona. That personally is not compelling enough for me. But again, if you're there in person, you see it, I would imagine it's much different. So I will give it that. But I don't know. It's like, how do you prove this base? I don't know if that's enough to jump to the conclusion there's an alien base underneath just from that, right? Does that make sense? That's a lot of connecting dots. That's a lot of, why are we jumping to that? What other evidence, I guess, supports that? So I'm going to actually stay on top of the story and look into it a lot further because this is fascinating, and Arizona isn't that far from Texas, so maybe I'll have to take a trip out there. All right, let's jump to this next part where Ross reveals something that happened to him at the airport that is very disturbing if this is true. Right. And you'll see what I mean. Take a look.
I have to admit, I had my computer on auto delete if it was opened.
Yeah.
When I came through customs.
Wow.
And I was ready to go live on national television if I was detained by Border Protection.
Wow.
Which actually happened to me after I did the Grush story.
Really?
Yeah. After I did the Grush story, I was detained and held by CBP.
Oh, my God.
And a mutual friend of ours made some inquiries and confirmed that there'd been some kind of a flag put on my file.
Unbelievable.
And unfortunately, it was so high level they couldn't access it. But basically, somebody, I suspect from the agency, had flagged that we want to know when Coulthart comes through next, and let's cause him some mischief. And I have to admit, we have a euphemism in Australia, tearing somebody a new asshole. I just wasn't going to put up with it. And I summoned my anger and basically yelled at Border Protection and said, I strongly advise that you get on the phone, whoever it is that's flagged me, contact them now or tell them I will be going live on television in about 10 minutes to talk about the fact that I'm being illegally held. I have a valid visa. You have no good reason to hold me. If you want to fight, you can have one. And I was let out.
That's interesting. And let me be very clear here. I have no reason to believe Ross is lying about this. In fact, that seemed very truthful and revealing, right? If that's true, that's pretty serious and scary. I've lived in other countries. I'm moving to another country currently, right? So customs is scary. There's no doubt about it. I've been stopped myself. The question is why? That's really where it is, because people do get stopped. Things do happen. And definitely, it's very disturbing to find out there's some sort of flag or something on your file, where it's coming from, and it happens right after a Grush interview. I could see how you can start connecting some dots. I get it, right? I totally get it. It's totally natural to do that. So again, that's scary. That's definitely scary. I don't really have any comments on it. If I'm being honest, I'm just like, damn, I'm glad he got out and glad that's okay. If you're reporting on UFOs, regardless of your belief in it, there shouldn't be any shadiness happening, right? Regardless if Ross believes it or doesn't believe it, none of that should matter. So that's interesting for sure. So anyway, look, I'm going to put a link in the description to the full Ross Coulthart interview on Jesse Michaels' channel. It's awesome. I'll also put a link to the News Nation piece about Arizona, so you can go check that out too and get more details about this base in Sedona. All right, we'll see you on the next one, veterans. Remember, every day is a gift, y'all. Peace.